Today's Valentine's Day, so I thought it would be fun. I thought it'd be fun to create a heart-shaped pizza. So we're going to start in the center here, not up at the very top, but down here a little bit. So then we're going to go up with your pencil and down and around to create this heart-shaped. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to put the crust in, and then we will put the toppings on top. So the crust, we're going to go around, and you're going to follow the line that you've already created all the way around like that, and you're going to do the same thing on the other side. And the crust, I guess, could be thin or thick. It doesn't have to be perfectly even. If you look at a pizza, a lot of times they're not perfectly even. And then, let's see, what do we want to decorate it with? I thought it'd be fun, since it's a heart-shaped pizza. All right, we're going to cut out the pepperoni. Pepperoni is usually round, and we're going to cut out the center of it so it looks like a heart. So we're going to put in a heart pepperoni here, and then maybe one here. And, I don't know, one up here. And just like when you decorate a pizza before you cook it, we're just going to make a variety. You're going to spread out your pepperoni. And I don't know how many pieces of pepperoni you want to put on your pizza. Maybe a whole bunch. I don't know if you like pepperoni. Put a whole bunch of pepperoni on your pizza. We're going to have red sauce, and we're going to have cheese, green pepper. So let's see. We're going to go up and around, and we're going to do strips of green pepper on our pizza just to give it some color. And what else do you put on pizza? See, and this is where you get to be creative. What else are we going to put on our pizza? So let's put a couple of tomatoes in here. So we're going to do them, you know how you do with a tomato and you slice them up? We're going to slice up 2 or 3 slices of tomato. They're going to be round. And we're going to start in the center, and they kind of have this, the inside of the tomato kind of looks like that. And it goes around, and there's usually 4 sections. So we're going to kind of do that. And there's our tomato. And maybe we do another one here. Like that. And maybe another tomato here. And then, I know these are pencil drawings. Once we color them, I think they'll look more like tomatoes once we color them. Bell pepper, what else can you put on here? We could put maybe some mushrooms. So a mushroom will maybe go around like that. And then it has the stalk, and maybe we do another mushroom here that's upside down, and it has like this stalk, and maybe we do another mushroom over here, goes around like that. So we have mushrooms. Mushrooms kind of curl around. We could actually make them curl around a little more. Kind of like that. All right. Before we get started doing the coloring part, which is we're going to use a marker, we're going to go in here and we're going to erase where our pepperoni overlaps the crust. Make sure that that's all erased. And then we're going to go in, we're using marker paper, we're going to go in and we're going to just kind of clean up some of the pencil lines where there's not quite as many pencil lines on here. We're going to make it lighter by going in and erasing and trying to clean up. And sometimes they smear, so we want to get some of the pencil lines off. Okay. I erase that. And do like a mushroom that kind of looks like that. Okay. Now The other thing I want to do with this pizza is I want it to have some sort of three-dimensionality to it. So we're going to start right here, and I'm going to pull out and do like another line that comes down, and then we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to pull out and bring it down so it looks like it's thick. It's a thick piece of pizza. See how we did that? So now we're going to go in and color. So when I start out, I usually go in and I pick colors that I think I want to use. And that's what I did with these markers, is I have all these colors here ready to go. So what we're going to do is, let's just start out with pepperoni. I'm going to start out with pepperoni, and the pepperoni pizza is going to be, kind of a red color. Now, I'm starting out with a brighter red. The other thing I want to do is I'm going to put like a shine on our pepperoni pieces. I'm going to put like a little highlight or shine on a few things. Maybe even on these pieces of these tomatoes, maybe have a little shine. You know, if the light's coming down, and it's going to shine on a few things. So we're going to add just a little shine, a little notch. It looks like, you know, the light is hitting it and it's shiny, and that's where the light is hitting the different pieces of fruit and pepperoni. So we're going to start out with pepperoni. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to color the pepperoni. We're not coloring the shine. We're not coloring the highlight. We're just coloring the pepperoni. I'm going around it. Like that. The pepperoni color is going to be different than the tomatoes. I'm making the pepperoni color kind of a lighter red. And when I go in and do the tomatoes, I'm going to make them a different color of red just so they stand out better. I'm going to make it like a darker red. The tomatoes will be a darker red. Oh, one more. All right. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to go on, since I'm doing red, I have this darker red. Oh, that's not that much darker. I thought it was a darker red than this. Okay, well, I'm going to go on. It's a different red, and I'm going to go on and do the tomatoes. Now, the outside of the tomatoes are super red, and inside the tomatoes are super red. But the in-between is a lighter red, almost a pink. So what we're going to do is we're just going around. I don't know if you see this. I'm going the outside, I'm going around the inside, and then I'm going to go in with a lighter red. I mean, here's a picture of a tomato. It has a lot of white in it. So I'm going to go in with a different, like a pink, a light color, kind of a, well, that's a different pink. That's not really the pink I was looking for. Whoops, didn't test it. Yeah, this is more of a pink on the inside of that tomato. You know, I could just do the lighter part of the pink first for the tomato. Then we can go back over the outside of the tomato with the darker red. And I thought I had an even darker red than this. I think I do. I just got to, let's see. Let me do this first. So we're going to go over it with the darker red. And they have seeds. You could put the seeds in your tomatoes like that. And I have a much darker red to go around the outside of your tomato. So they look like tomatoes. Okay, and then let's see. Mushrooms are brown basically. Kind of like that. We only did 3. Let's do another one. I'm going to stick another one over here. And maybe another one up here. I didn't realize I hadn't put that many in there. We got to put mushrooms on there. I guess you don't have to put mushrooms. Well, let's go and do the green. We have green pepper. And green pepper's kind of this color, kind of a light color. I don't know if it's exactly this color or not. But put some green peppers in here. Give it some different color. Something else that we could put on there is we could put some basil leaves. I love basil on mine. And so I'm going to put a couple of basil leaves on my pizza, which basil will be a little bit darker than, so the basil leaves that I put on here are a little bit darker than the green pepper. Just to give it, you know, some variety, I thought I'd put, you know, just a little more toppings on here. And let's see, what else could we put on our pizza? How about some red onion? Red onion is purple. That might be kind of fun to put some red onion on it. We don't have to put very much, right? But we'll put a little bit of red onion. Little strips of red onion. Like that. All right, red onion, bell peppers, basil leaves, tomatoes, and pepperoni hearts. And it's a heart. Okay, so now we're going to do the background, which is the cheese and then the crust. And let's see, so cheese color. Cheese is usually a yellow, kind of a really light yellow. Ooh, that's really dark. That's not it. But the thing about it is the crust has to be a brown. We have to find a color where there's enough contrast between the two where you can really tell the difference between the two. All right, we just got finished doing all the different things. I'm going to go in and work on our mushrooms. The mushrooms usually are dark around the outside, and then they have like dark on the inside. I mean, dark on the outside, and sometimes they're dark on the side, on the stems. So the stems, I'm gonna like put some dark on them, and I'm gonna put dark on the inside here. And then I'm gonna put dark on the outside. So they're darker on the outside, they're kind of outlined. We're gonna outline them. And put dark on the inside so they look like they're mushrooms. And the stems sometimes are darker, so we want to make sure they look like they're mushrooms and not just brown blobs. All right, they look better now that we've added that.
Don't miss another video. Subscribe today.
So I think I'm going to do the crust. This crust is going to be lighter than this crust down here. This is going to be browner. So we're going to go in and I'm going to create this crust. And you know, the crust doesn't have to be brown. It can be kind of a yellow color or even have some orange in it. So you guys get to choose how you want to do that. I don't know if I can mix these colors on this marker paper. Ooh, I can. So I really like this idea of mixing these two browns together. So the crust is not so dark. And you have to be careful if you're coloring and this is wet and you put your arm in it, you're going to smear all over. So all this has to dry before we go over it again. And I kind of wanted to do a mixture. I don't know if that's going to mix up or not. I love blending and mixing color pencils and markers and stuff like that. Because remember, this crust doesn't have to be super brown. It's a tan color. So I'm going to turn my paper around as I color on this pizza. Keep turning it around as I'm coloring on the pizza. All right, so then what I'm going to do is take this darker color to give it some volume, and we're going to put like the darker color around the outside just to kind of give it some volume so it looks like it's a three-dimensional piece of dough. Kind of like that, and then on the inside, just a little. And you could always come back with your other one and kind of blend it a little. That's what's great about marker paper, is if you don't want the hard line, you want it to kind of blend a little, you can go back in and kind of scribble around, and you're blending it with the color that you just put on there, so then there's not a hard line on it. So I want to show you the difference between the hard line and then how I scribbled over it a little and blended this color. That's what's cool about marker paper. Is we can go in here and do this all the way around, so then it's blended and it's not a hard line. And the more you blend it, the more the hard line goes away and it's all blended in. And you may have to go over it and over until it all blends together to give it the soft look. See how I did that? Some of this takes a little bit of time, but it makes it look so much nicer. I wish I had done more of that over here. I was trying to blend all of it together more. I think this looks so much more nice than that. That's what's great about drawing. You just never know what you're going to come up with. You draw every day and you never know what you're going to come up with, and you never know how it's going to turn out. And if you don't like this one, then you do another one, right? Okay, the next thing is we're going to do the, a pizza always has cheese. So we got to put the cheese in it. And I'm trying to figure out how I want it, what color I want the cheese to be. I kind of want it to be like a light, ooh, that's not it. That's too dark. A light, like yellow. Here's a lemon yellow. Maybe I'll try this one. Well, let's see how it looks. That may be too light. It's almost green. All right. I guess I'll go back to my... it looks green. I didn't mean it to be green. All right, I'm back to the Crayola brand. I don't know where my lemon yellow is for my alcohol markers. So now we're going to take this yellow and we're going to go around all the rest of our white on this pizza. It's going to be our cheese. And cheese can be white. It doesn't have to be yellow. But I was trying to put some color in here. So now what I want to do is go in. I want to go in with a darker. I want to go in with a darker yellow and actually put some like streaks for cheese on there. I mean, like it's grated cheese. We're going to make it look like we have some maybe grated cheese on top. So we're putting streaks in for grated cheese. You get to choose how many you're going to put on there. All right. Now, another thing I want to do is, remember we have this other section down here, and I want it to be a darker brown than what the top of it is. So I want to get in here and figure out if I have a darker brown that I want to use. Ooh, that's like really dark. I don't know how dark I want it to be. Maybe a combination of this dark and a little darker, right? So I'm going to go in, this is a little darker, and I'm going to go in and put in like a 1 stroke of this dark color underneath here. To give it a little bit of volume. I almost want to like add some of it somewhere else. It looks funny to have this color only in one place. So I'm going to go back over and add this dark color onto our mushrooms. Oh, that helps those mushrooms really stand out more, doesn't it? There you go. Oh, I like that much better. All right, so I've added there, and then I'm going to use that the same color that I used as the trim up here. I'm going to go in and finish this crust with this darker color. Going in and blending again. And I almost think that this other area should be a little darker, because it kind of doesn't show up like what I want it to show up. I wanted it to be more defined, like it's the bottom of the crust. So I got a much darker one, and I'm just going to go in and define the edge a little more with this darker brown. Turn my paper around. See, I'm defining the edge just a little more with this darker brown, so it looks like it's the edge of the crust. And this ended up being a little bumpy, so I'm going to go in and smooth it out a little. Right there. Smooth it out just a tad. And it's kind of lopsided. We're going to go in and kind of make it a little better. And so it's not so lopsided. So one more thing we need to do is we need to go in and make some more definitions within our vegetables and within the hearts. So first of all, I got a darker a darker green. Oops, not dark enough. I need a darker green. Let's see if I can find a darker green to go into my leaves. And I'm going to actually put more detail in the leaves so they look like basil leaves and not just green blobs. So that's what I did, was I'm going to go in and I'm going to add more detail to each one of these leaves, so then that way it looks like a leaf, a basil leaf. It doesn't look like just a green blob. Kind of doing the same thing with the these green peppers in here. So I'm just going to put some definition in my green peppers so they show up a little better. And I want to go in with that dark red. What did I do with it? I'm going to go into my pepperoni, and I am going to define the pepperoni a little more, give it some shape. All right, how are we doing here? So once all of this dries and the marker's nice and dry, you want to go back with your eraser and erase all the pencil lines. So we're going to go in here because there's some pencil lines on your marker paper. So we want to go in and make sure all the pencil lines are cleaned up and they're all gone. Okay, for the final touches, if you, like this right here, I covered up the white. If you want to add more white and put more white in your tomato, you can do that. A good way to do that is with a classic Jelly Roll ink pen, or I don't know, it's considered ink. Anyway, a classic Jelly Roll pen. So you can take that and you can use that to add extra white to anything that you messed up, or if you wanted to add more white to your picture, this is a good way of doing it. And there you go. Hope you enjoyed making your Valentine pizza. And I'll see you in the next video.